Every once in a while, a movie or TV show comes along that unites the internet in perfect harmony. While another Marvel TV series has come and gone, it appears impossible to reverse the company's downward death spiral. What do you expect when the individuals who created Secret Invasion couldn't give a damn about the fanbase? They were attempting to get to watch it. When asked about some of the criticisms of the MCU series, director Ali Salim reacted and claimed he doesn't pay attention to critiques and stated, "I don't feel bad about disappointing rabid Marvel fans. Is it our job to fulfill their expectations?"
Man, this is some bullshit! Boo this man!
Nothing like antagonizing the very people you want to watch your terrible show. However, even though Secret Invasion did include any new characters that we hadn't seen previously and just featured Nick Fury's return, I was curious to see how the MCU would handle what had been marketed as a gritty spy drama. Secret Invasion is one of Marvel Comics' biggest storylines, with many of the A-list characters revealed to be Skrulls. One of the opening scenes from the comic had the Illuminati, who were already on bad terms with one another, gathered around a dead Skrull who was posing as Elektra. As they were debating what to do about it, Black Bolt makes his Skrull identity known and attacks them. When they have each other in check, they glance around the room and realise that nobody can be trusted, so they part ways without saying anything more. In terms of the level of distrust and paranoia it created, there's never been a moment in the entire history of the Secret Invasion show that compares to this one, and if we're being completely honest, there aren't any suspicious or paranoia moments in any of the 6 episodes. This comic book plot had appealed because it took everything people knew about Marvel Comics and turned it upside down. Fans got a front row seat to every choice throughout the soft reboot. However, this show exists in a bubble. The MCU would continue even if you were to erase the show from existence. Normally, I have nothing against MCU projects existing on their own, but this story's entire attraction is that it doesn't. This kind of narrative ought to have occupied the majority of the phase, which finished with Avengers Secret Invasion. A threat like this would have required getting the band back together with fresh members. This would have been far more interesting than the multiverse saga they are currently embarking on, which already seems antiquated. On top of these issues, the show's pacing is off, and it doesn't really do anything all that interesting with its idea. The espionage thriller that is meant to evoke lacks any feeling of build-up, mystery or deception. Although there are some interesting parts overall, it feels like a significant squandered opportunity. It also seems like Nick Fury's trip so far can be summed up by people getting upset with him and again claiming that he'd left because the snap altered him. The Skrulls Invasion's developments, meanwhile, happen so swiftly that I hardly noticed them. There is simply no sense of mystery, unease or intrigue. Throughout the show, I continue to hold out that they have been deceiving us the entire time and that we have actually been witnessing 2 Nick Furies, one of which is a Skrull imposter. At the conclusion, there would be a dramatic disclosure and a recap a la The Prestige that will highlight the numerous instances in which we should have known that Fury on screen was fake. That explains why his performance was so erratic. He is simultaneously playing 2 guys. But no, nothing. We got absolutely nothing from this show, and it's getting harder and harder for me to maintain my enthusiasm in Marvel. Furthermore, when Fury returned from the blip, he reportedly wasn't the same. However, he was never made visible to us. Additionally, they gave him Hawkeye's same twist. For Hawkeye, it made sense because other than Natasha, he didn't really have a personal connection to the Avengers, and his wife Laura gave him that connection. However, he would conceal that aspect of himself. And Fury, he was evading the Winter Soldier. This new information's historical context is absurd, and once more, the Hawkeye twist applies. This has been done better before, as we've already seen. It's a show that tells the viewer everything. They claim that the Skrulls have taken over all these top positions in politics and industry, but the only way they could have demonstrated that was by calling a meeting of specific Skrulls and having them inform us that these men and women were influential people. They are never seen in action. We never get to witness these folks in any full authority. We're never shown their rise to power. They are not the threat they claim to be. We are just informed that these people are strong and dangerous. It's just all talk, 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 talk. There is hardly any connection. In addition, the things we've seen have been done better in other MCU projects. This series gives off the impression that its writers and director have never been or seen or read a political spy thriller. They simply took a quick glance at a wiki page and concluded, yep, that doesn't look so tough. But it's difficult. It's a high wire act that heavily depends on having all the connections made clear to you. It belongs to a genre where showing rather than telling is preferred. Just like She-Hulk was created by writers who seem to have never before written a courtroom comedy. They even admitted so much. Where does Disney keep getting these creators that are completely unqualified qualified. Finding someone qualified can't be that difficult, surely. But apparently, the writers and director made this show up as they went along. They never even read the original source material. This show made numerous choices that had little to no positive impact on their viewing experience, and created more questions than they answered. According to rumours, the Secret Invasion comics were not to be studied by filmmaker Ali Salim in order to create a fresh tale. Simply put, Marvel Studios neglected to explain what the comic was about. The saddest thing about the show is that it kicked off with a somewhat bang. The death of Maria Hill served as the cliffhanger for the first episode, which gave the series a dramatic start. Skrull deceit, thrilling foot chases, and the tragic loss of one of the MCU's cast's oldest members all took place during this episode. It was a terrific beginning, but this enthusiasm was short-lived. Gaia died suddenly and unexpectedly at the hands of Gravik in episode 3. This was a death that did not make sense, and it was undone predictably in the following scene. As a result, there was one unexpected death that made an impact on the audience, and one that had little significance. After that, Talos is killed in episode 4, which was meant to be one of the most dramatic scenes of the whole series. It was as this same incident that his daughter had a miraculous recovery. Talos' death had little to no effect on Nick Fury, thus diluting the usage of Gravik, unexpectedly killing major figures. All of this lessens the effect of Maria Hill's passing in episode 1. To put it mildly, the MC's use of the Skrulls has been poor and unusual, and the possibility of a Super Skrull turned out to be crucial to the story of Secret Invasion. The classic Super Skrull possesses 4 Fantastic Four superpowers. The MCU version of that was first modified by Gravik, using comparable powers from well-known MCU characters. Awesome. Then, the shark was most dramatically jumped when both Gravik and Gaia, seemingly for no reason, acquired the powers of almost every hero and villain in MCU's past. They displayed the range from Drax to Mantis to Thanos, to changing Gaia into the reimagining of Captain Marvel with no subtlety at all. The MCU's most potent member is now a character that has previously had a less than stellar entry into the franchise. The Superman issue has arrived in the MCU, but instead of the iconic Superman, we have Gaia.
Who?
The irony of this series' last battle is overt. One of the main criticisms of She-Hulk was that it made a light-hearted joke out of the MCU's well-established grounded storyline. Many anticipated the Secret Invasion would mark a comeback. The commentary in She-Hulk conclusion, however, emphasises how unpleasant it is when a Marvel Studios program resorts to a massive CGI battle, rather than concentrating on the narrative being presented. It's ridiculous that a Secret Invasion ended with one of the most extravagant CGI fights, while being this realistic spy tale everyone had been waiting for. The icing on the sad cake is the fact that She-Hulk so painfully brought it up. But none of these terriblenesses come close to the egregious handling of James Rhodes. People were concerned about Secret Invasion since it was possible that certain important characters had been Skrulls throughout the MCU events. Nick Fury was the prime suspect, and while it would have been difficult to prove that he was a Skrull, it would have greatly enhanced the already enigmatic character. Instead, since the airport battle sequence in Captain America Civil War, Marvel Studios has all but confirmed that James Rhodey Rhodes is a Skrull. This is notable since it adds nothing to the character. There aren't many, if any, instances in Rhodes' past when fans may point to and draw significance from the notion that he was a Skrull. It substantially eliminates some of Rhodey's most memorable MCU moments. A Skrull was by Tony's side as he died. A Skrull also attended Tony Stark's burial instead of Rhodes. The joke about baby Thanos wasn't made by Rhodes, it was by a Skrull. It is possible that leaving this question unanswered would have had a similar effect on the Secret Invasion plot. The timetable was well defined, and all these issues were brought up by the showrunners ostensibly for shock value alone. And the ending, well, I could talk about the ending, however, at the end of the day, what ending? Fury is back in space, Gaia and Sonya Farnsworth are working together, and the minor character of Gaia, who we've just been introduced, is now the most powerful being in the entire MCU. Anyway, I'm done talking about this ridiculous show. I've already squandered far too much of my life on it. And what's really sad is that there is no universe where fans may watch the Secret Invasion plot from the MCU again. Secret Invasion is one of the biggest disappointments in MCU history due to the hype, actors, source material, timing, and potential impact on MCU's future. Can Loki stop the Marvel rot? I guess we'll find out soon when it drops on Disney Plus on October 6th. I must watch it because I'm a sucker for punishment. Well, that's enough rambling for one day.